Hopefully I can catch the
We're
YouTube
live.
mute. Hey everybody. Hopefully,
Huh?
I won't have an echo here. I'm waiting for it to load up on YouTube so I can mute it. So sorry for the delay. Thank you everybody that's here. Nope, there goes my echo. Wasn't as smooth as I did it on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. I was pretty good at that. I had it down. There was no echo. I caught the YouTube mute very quickly.
You did. You were doing really good. You know, someone showed me how to get rid of it altogether. I just pop out the chat now and I leave the video closed completely.
Well, you'll have to
I will show you after. Yeah, I'll show you after.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because that's why you keep it up, right? For the chat.
Oh, wait. Yes, I do. So I can at people. Always grateful. Hey, I'm so glad you're here and hopefully you're safe.
Yes.
And Megan too. Oh my goodness, Megan. Hi.
Nope, Megan, they're both very wet. I think at this point there's a lot of rain down there. I see requests for Puddle to call off his friends. I'm laughing. Right? Hey, grumpy old dude, how are you? This is one of our friends from over at Hereticals channel, JC.
Hi. Thank you for being here.
Nice to see you.
That's what's going on here. A train
wreck. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Black Mirror. We both watched one of the first episodes, 15 Million Merits, right?
Yes.
Is that how you say?
Yes.
And I'm not happy.
Yeah, you were telling me you had questions.
I do. There are holes, but go ahead. You start because I know you have theories, and maybe they'll fill in my holes. Who knows?
I swear. Are you trying? Are you trying for your promotion of Saturday streams? There, you're just.
No. A hole. Wait a minute. No, a hole. Right a hole can actually just be like an absence of information. People, it doesn't always have to mean anything like that. I've got my intellectual hat on.
I don't.
All right, and I'm dressed. Okay, there you go. I'm taking this very seriously. I have clothes on. Let's be real. Let's take this seriously.
John even says your wording. It's how you're saying things and trying so hard to be mature.
I can't, John. I'm not trying to be like that. I'm not. Honestly. Oh God.
And I remembered. Let me go to StreamYard because I figured out how to do this. I'm glad you're safe. Always grateful.
Oh, you're in the dark?
Yeah. Hopefully you've got the ability to charge things too. I don't know if you've ever been through a hurricane, Claire, but I've been through.
Oh, are you kidding? I'm on the east coast of the United States. I've been, yes, regularly. A couple times a year, usually, No, Mrs. Cassandra, I don't have OnlyFans. Stop. John, look what you're doing.
He doesn't have enough merit to have an OnlyFans account or a Wrath Babes account, should we say. And I just dropped all of my notes.
Do you want to, can we start with that? The merits, like why?
Yeah.
Why?
Let me get, didn't that represent money? Hold on. I'm going to share the screen here.
It does, I have issues. The only thing you can buy is a ticket to go to that show. Like, what is the purpose?
Everything. The toothpaste, the beginning scene of the toothpaste.
Yep, and the hand soap and the air dryer for your hands and the bad vending machines with all that technology, and the vending machine was like that. Come on.
True. There was a theory out there that there was like no more food for people, and that's why everyone had to produce power. Anyway, let me get into the
that's where they disappointed me, not giving us enough information about why they were peddling. Because as they are, for those of you that did not watch the episode, they are everyone over the age of 21, right? JC has to provide service by peddling these bites to get merits, credits. And they can watch shows. They have their own cubicles. They have to pay for their own food and everything. But everybody is living a separate, isolated life. It's like
a box.
It's like if modern day it's like a futuristic pandemic happened or something. Like
Yeah.
everybody's in a little box that's surrounded by screens, very visual. Like the TV is surrounding you, your video games are surrounding you, and any times you can watch anything you want, anything you can think of.
But you're in the room alone by yourself until you're
right.
out.
No
Right,
social interaction. Yeah.
Let me read the kind of an overview really quick by
Go
Wikipedia.
ahead.
It's the shortest overview I could find because all of them went into basically describe the episodes word for word. But it says Bing Madsen lives in a room surrounded by screens, kind of like Claire said, that wake him up, serve as a video game console, and feature regular adverts. He rides a stationary bike to earn merits, which he needs to pay for his daily actions. He sits next to Dustin, an obnoxious man who degrades the overweight cleaners as they pass and watches pornography as he cycles. Overhearing Abby Khan singing in the toilets, Bing convinces her to enter Hot Shot, a virtual talent show whose winners can live a life of luxury. He offers, and Hot Shot was very similar to America's Got Talent and X Factor.
Yeah, all the characters too. Yeah,
yes.
all of them.
He offers to buy her entry ticket, having inherited millions of merits from his deceased brother. The ticket costs more merits than he thought, 15 million, almost his entire savings, but he buys it. Bing goes with Abby to the audition, and she gives him an origami penguin. I mispronounce that. My husband makes fun of me all the time. Apparently it's penguin, but I can't say it's penguin to me. All right, again, Florida education. Abby is made to drink a carton of Compliance before performing Anyone Who Knows What Love Is by Irma Thomas for judges Wrath, Hope, and Charity. The judges are unimpressed, but Wrath offers a place for Abby on his pornography channel, Wrath Babes. Despite Bing's, I'm assuming that's protest, I can't really pronounce things correctly. From backstage, Abby, succumbing to pressure from the audience and judges, accepts. Whilst in his room, Bing sees an advert for Wrath Babes featuring Abby. He cannot afford merits to skip it, and a high-pitched noise sounds when he looks away from the screens, so he must watch. Increasingly agitated, he smashes a screen in frustration and then hides a shard of glass under his bed. Bing then becomes single-mindedly obsessed with cycling and being as frugal as possible. He buys a hotshot ticket and hides the shard of glass in his trousers. On stage, he starts performing a dance number, then pulls out the shard and threatens to slice his own neck. Wrath goads him to do it, but the other judges encourage him to speak. He passionately and angrily rants about the heartless artificial system they live under. Hope declares the speech the most heartfelt hotshot in hotshot history, and offers Bing his own regular show on one of his channels. Bing is shown recording his show where he rants while holding the shard to his neck despite criticizing the system on his show, and he now lives in a much larger quarters, and the episode ends with him looking out from his room at what appears to be a vast green forest. So,
and that was epic, the ending. My thoughts? I have many. I do appreciate that they ended the episode with the same look on his face that when we met him. Do you remember how nothing seemed to entice him? He's like overwhelmed by technology. He's just listless. Right. He's dull. He's not living in the moment anymore. He's just existing. So he goes through all of this through the whole episode. And where do we leave him? In a penthouse, doing much better on their terms as far as merits, with a promotion, his own show, and yet he's got that same look on his face. Gone is his interaction with people. Gone is his connection to anything. He is just blank again.
Right.
Living by himself, looking out at the most gorgeous view with not a smile on his face, with not even a reaction. And I'm like, dang, if that wasn't a message, I don't know what the message was. But was that a message? And that's my problem with the issue. He tried so hard to get a message onto me, but there were so many holes that it was really, really hard to take. I had issues. Here is an episode with absolutely no social interaction, with the people in general. People are staying away from each other on purpose. They're not interacting. If they do, it's offensive. And yet he's supposed to have fallen in love. I don't
Right.
know if that was possible. I was, can you see my head is tilting here, people? It's tilting over. I was like, what?
Apparently,
Okay.
you are not the only one. There are so many
Mhm.
different similar frustrations, theories.
Also,
Easter
why are they
eggs.
biking? Somebody explain to me, why are they biking? Why
That
are they
is
biking?
the very, very, very big
I know
question.
it was a dystopic. I know it was like a post-apocalyptic or something, or it was something must have happened. There's a power grid failure. Everybody has to contribute. They're trying to do something for the better good. There's all kinds of theories out there, but they never addressed it. They didn't even give us a hint. Like when you're 21 and you have to go there and you have to bike, and you have to bike for all of this credit to buy all of this stuff to take care of yourself, and you're assuming that some of this energy is going out into the system for what? Your own video screen? Like, where are
I
the old
read
people?
somewhere there
Where are
was
the
a
children? Where are the
theory.
old people?
Dude, I
Where are
know.
the sick? Where is everybody?
There's so many missing holes, but I don't think this episode was to be thought of as literal, you know? I mean, I feel like they would have to make it a whole mini series to cover
They
everything.
yeah, they may, and I do give them the grace that it was in the beginning. It was in the very beginning of the series. It was very low budget, but come on, I mean, it's not that much budget to add something into the story. Like, at least give us some hints as to why they were in the situation that they were in. It was hard to accept. It took away from the story for me because they kept coming
Really?
back to it. Like, why? Yeah, it kind of took, it was hard to concentrate. Because I'm like, why? I did appreciate some of the caste system. Again, they brought the caste system in where everybody who is overweight was a second class citizen. You either worked as the garbage pickup, or you were like on comedy shows being targeted and made fun of. And that was rude. That was very, very rude, and an uncomfortable
Extremely rude.
statement.
Right.
Yeah. And, I get they're making a point about the caste system, about people treating people as second class citizens and everything. And, you know, but I was like, what's the point? Like, what did that have to do with, except for the fact that Bing was side-eyeing that guy on the bike all the time that he didn't really like. Now, why didn't he go to a different bike if he didn't like the guy? Like, why?
You know, and that's what I don't understand too. The Abby character, when she came in, he's like, "Oh, you're new. I haven't seen you here before." And she said she was just on 21, and she wanted to go somewhere else where her sister was, but for some reason she was on that level. I think they were on level 36, as you can
Mhm.
kind of see when
Right.
Bing and Abby are talking about him potentially giving her enough merits to get a ticket to get
Hmm.
on Hot Shots. You can see they're in this whole, it kind of almost looks like a parking garage, and it's just like different
Levels.
levels of people on
Hmm.
bikes.
So
So they're
you
not
get,
the
so it's
only,
massive. There's like
right,
massive, like it's a big
like Matrix
producing.
style.
Yeah, it's big Matrix style. And, but here's the other thing. There are people that buy these tickets and they're just holding off and not producing any electricity or being on that bike day in and day out while they wait to get on this show. How is that productive?
So, okay, right before we're streaming, part of the reason I had to push this back is because for some reason, and I swear I get glitchy things either in my TV or my computer, the day that we stream, I'm not superstitious, but I'm beginning to think there's a freaking pattern here. But my computer just like froze up. I had these articles pinned that had someone, I may be able to pull it up if I don't get too distracted trying to do both at once. But the creator of, or producer, director, whatever, of this episode was not only Charlie Brooker, but it was
Brooker,
his
right.
wife
Mm-hmm.
as well. And I think it was said that the ending was going to be showing the people pedaling and then kind of following their the plug, that they're supposed to be
Uh-huh.
showing where it was plugged into to show what it was powering, and it was not actually going to be plugged into anything.
That's even
So,
worse. That's
right?
even worse. Oh my God. Are you killing me? That means there are no answers. You just answered the answer by telling me there are no answers.
And
Wow.
isn't that kind of how it left us with the end scene anyway, with him just kind of
Exactly. Listless,
someone pointed out
useless.
the end the end scene as well. You know how Avi's character gave him the folded up, penguin,
Right.
and then when he moved into the penthouse style apartment, that
Mm-hmm.
he had a wooden penguin on his desk next to the shard in the box. And I said shard in a box, not anything else, people. But
Mm-hmm.
so the he just basically traded one fake penguin for another fake penguin, just a fancier one.
Right. And he
So
just didn't even smile about it. Thinking, oh.
basically, all that he did, the whole episode left you feeling completely hopeless. And like you said, there are no answers. Where it's almost like I got the rat race feeling, that we're just
Uh-huh.
doing all of this for what reason? And I
Mm-hmm.
personally believe there's hope and there's purpose in life. But I also see how there's danger and just the monotony and getting
Uh-huh.
caught up in technology and living for someone else's plan and getting stuck in that and not even know it, because it's sometimes easier to be lazy and just click on some mindless stuff instead of
Mm-hmm.
doing things that make you think for yourself.
Yeah, it was that is the reality of it when they're surrounded by all those screens. Even when they're biking, there's a big screen in front of them and they can pick any show that they want, but they are limited to what they can have because it's whatever they're producing by those shows, by those producers making, the content. The funny stuff is all them making fun of fat people or obese people
Right.
and rudely and crudely, and they think it's funny. I didn't think it was funny. Or turning around and being insulted to the people wearing the yellow suits, the paper suits that they were
Yeah.
wearing, that to try to make them stick out. The coloring, the drabness of the whole facility was it just
Yeah.
brought you down. It was made to make you feel like, yes, it's like a
Very
rat race.
sterile.
Like, yes, it's very sterile. There's nothing here. It's just the brightness of the streams. It's supposed to be like, you got to go out onto the internet. You got to go out into this stream to find any color, any life, any thing you can connect with. There's no one was connecting with each other left or right of themselves, even though they were in the same room. That bothered me. That's why
I
it made it
wonder
so
if
hard
that
to.
was intentional too. Like we're all right together. I mean, minus the pandemic and quarantine and what we should be doing, supposed to be doing, or as some people feel forced to be doing, to be
Mhm.
isolated due to health reasons. But do you think that's symbolic of what we can do to ourselves? We're sitting here. I mean, shoot, through the pandemic and neighbors being close together, it's like, hey, I've lived beside you for 15 years, but I've never actually talked to you. We just go into our
Mhm.
boxes at night
Right.
and get on our phones, and I don't really interact with you. I mean, sometimes that's intentional because I may have some out there neighbors, but hey.
Right. Hey, we all have them. There's no problem. But I get what you're saying. It was very stark. But that brings me to like some of the messages that were in there, like the about being in the caste system. Like I got that. But besides the overall feel of it, the message when Abby actually went on the show. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that
Because
was
I had it.
really disturbing and heartbreaking.
It was, and I had a conversation, and I've been thinking about it. And the conversation that I had with someone was like, she just like, that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't give in that easy. And I'm like,
Are you kidding me?
no, I think the image is that here she is. She's gonna be a star. Here's her chance. Somebody believes in her. Somebody looked at her like a real person and was looking at her lovingly. Being is like supporting her, looking at her like, wow, you're a person. which doesn't happen in this environment. Okay, like let's just face it, it wasn't going on.
Right.
They're the only two reacting that way to each other.
Yeah.
And so she's feeling hopeful, right? Really, really hopeful. And
Mm-hmm.
here's her voice, and God, she's got a beautiful voice. She's got a beautiful song. She
Yes.
gets out there, and what? Here comes society right down on your head, girl, and says, "Nope, you're meat." And tell me that wasn't the message. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
the message. Oh,
Absolutely.
and they were just like, "Show me your chest," or they used other words. I don't want to.
Yeah, it was quite vulgar.
Right. And it's like, you sing, you have a nice voice, but it's not going to be good enough. You would be so much better at this other stuff, and
Yes,
we're
because
just
one
going
of the
to,
judges, I guess it was trying him
Rafe.
to own a porn company, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, "Well, we've had enough singers. We're just full up on singers, but you'd really be good for his company. And don't worry about the shame and guilt because there was this drink that they would give everyone." And couldn't quite figure out if they only gave it to them right before they got on Hot Shots or if this was something they all drank all the time. But it was called, I'll spell it in the chat too because I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. It's basically compliance. It's like a play on compliance, but it was
It is.
compliance
It's compliance, right? And it's
right.
to make you feel like, just to make you go along with whatever's going on, regardless of how you feel about anything.
Kind of numbing,
right. And she was forced to have that before she even went out there and sang. And so, now she's defeated. She's hearing the same message that as a young woman, you may be hearing anyway in society. That's the message I got. That, of course, now you got your one shot, you got your dream, and here is that message that you hear every day, and it just smacked you upside your head. So, of course, you are just dumbfounded, and you're like defeated. Like the rug is now pulled out from under you. You realize that they don't even see you. The look in her eyes, she just knew. They didn't see her. They saw a product of meat. They're just going to sell her out, and it didn't matter what she wanted. And it was like, I could see it on her face. It was like, same old, like, been here, done that. This sucks. Like, here we go again.
It seemed unfamiliar to her to be spoken to that way.
Now, I might be adding more to it as a woman of some years and have seen it, done it, and lived this societal pressure. I think all women live this societal pressure in some way. I'm not saying it's like that on purpose by every person out there, but it is ingrained in our society somewhat. And it's hard to fight against. And I really felt for her. That was the one hard message where I was like, why? Why are you doing this to me, Charlie? I like you. Charlie Brooker, what are you doing this to me for?
Right.
Like, I sang your praises last week. I love your stuff, and you're making me doubt you, dude. Like, you're making me take my words back.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's the first person I thought of when I watched this again was Billie Eilish. How she says she intentionally wears baggy clothes because she does not want her music to be about her body. She wants people to focus on her music, her words, kind of like a lot of times why we use avatars, right? Like you use
That's
avatars
the
all the
number
time
one reason. That
Right.
was the purpose, is to make the conversation heard, and you don't get to see all the other stuff because I want you to hear what is being said.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. And as women, absolutely, definitely. Like, think of all the singers out there. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing what you want as your body if you want to wear certain things. This isn't a shaming thing. This is just that, unfortunately, whatever we do as women, it's like, oh yeah, that's great, you're working really hard, but I mean, I'll just say what he said, show me your tits. You know what I mean? Like, You can't just be smart, or you can't just be creative, or you can't just be a great singer. It's always made to be a sexual thing when it comes to women, and it's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Mhm.
I absolutely don't think you were looking too much into it. I think that's
Mhm. Well,
what
I
the
admit,
was
I
supposed to be.
admit, yeah, I admit at this age, it's been a while for me looking at it, and I do have a chip on my shoulder about it. I may recognize it and feel harder about it at sometimes, because I don't see it changing as fast as I would like. I do see a lot of positive change about it. I don't want to make it like a soapbox issue or anything, but for me
Sure.
personally, it has been an issue for a long time, being in business and you know, just trying to do things as an individual and a person, kind of like what I'm saying, what I'm thinking, and not what I'm looking like. Like, let's take male, female out of it. Let's take the
Right.
sex parts out of it. Just be, the person, the idea, the thought, the conversation. Um, that's a mission of mine. I want to have those conversations. But so it spoke to me. Charlie, I love the way you did it. You made it real. You made us feel what she was feeling. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
I
yeah, for
felt for
sure.
her. Yeah. Yeah. I
Did you
wish I
just, like, oh my gosh, wanna go run up there and give her a hug, and,
mhm,
I just felt, again, like all her hopes and dreams. She knew in that moment she was never gonna be seen for what she wanted to
mhm,
be seen for, that
mhm.
everyone had, and I know we all love this word, but she had no control over her own narrative.
Nope. What did they say? They said, "You are too beautiful. No one's going to listen to you."
Right.
That's exactly what they said. They said,
Yeah.
"Look at you. Look at your body. Look at your face. Look at your eyes. No one's going to listen to you." And I
No.
was like, "Oh, dude, just say it out loud." Like, "Oh my God, that got me. That got me hard." And I was like, but what do you fight against something like that? They were owning it and they were saying it out. And what was so hard to hear was they were saying it out like it was the most natural thing in the world. Like, doesn't everybody know this? Like, this
Right.
is just the way it is. Like, hey, you can't fight against it. This is just the way it is. Like, go on, just agree with us because that's the way it is. And then when the woman agreed, like she was getting uncomfortable. You
Yeah.
could see her squirming in her chair. She wanted to say something like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
isn't right." But what
Claire's
does she
talking about
do?
the other judge. She was one of the judges in between the 2
Hmm.
guys, and you could tell at
Charity.
first she was
Yeah.
uncomfortable, but then she was like, "Yep." She just kind of accepted it as well and went along with it.
Yeah. What did she say? I might join you or something like that. Like,
Yes,
I
when
might
they
even
said she
join
would
you.
be good
Yeah.
on the Wrath Babes, the porn
Mm,
channel, if you will. But then through it all, more hopelessness was that when, Bing, he worked his butt off again, rode the exercise machine, limited the merits that he spent. Oh,
mhm.
this isn't, oh my gosh, we're skipping over the most the most horrific part in and of itself.
Go ahead.
So this guy gives her the merits. She gets on Hot Shots. She uses the merits to buy the ticket to get on Hot Shots. She gets picked to go on because you also had to be in this waiting area
Mhm,
beforehand. And just because you'd been there for forever, basically, that didn't necessarily mean you were going to get to go on stage and audition.
mhm,
So, so when she was like, "Okay, fine, I will," she being, Abby, "I'll do the Wrath Babes," because they said the judges were like, "It's either Wrath Babes or you go back on the bike."
mhm,
So she went to Wrath Babes. Well, very soon, Bing went back to bed, back in his little box. And beforehand, what you could do, kind of like you can skip ads right now on YouTube, if
mhm,
something would pop up on their screens, if they had enough merits, they could, bypass the ads. Well, guess what came up? An ad for Wrath Babes, and Abby was in that promotion. He went to try to dismiss the ad, And he didn't have enough merits because he'd basically given them all away to her
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
get her shot to be a singer. And yeah, he was forced to watch it. You could not even close your eyes because the sensors would know when you're closing your eyes, and it would
Mhm.
make this atrocious noise, more annoying than a fire alarm. So for him to have to sit there and
Mhm.
watch her be violated.
And with her
Man,
eyes showing, they're saying compliance, you don't fight back. But did you see her eyes? How could
yeah,
anybody think she wanted to be
right.
doing whatever was happening on that screen when you saw her eyes or any of their eyes, anyone that was involved with any of
Very
that?
true.
It was just, um,
I probably
it,
should have put a trigger warning on this, but I probably will after
mm.
the
I
replay.
think the people that are here can handle it. They know, if you know Black Mirror, you know, we would have to trigger warn you for every single episode for something.
That is true. That is
Mm,
true. Yeah.
mm,
So all of that happened. Then he again, I apologize, Bing earned more merits again so he could get on Hot Shots. He when he was seeing, sorry, that ad for her and could not escape watching it, he banged his head against the screens in his room because again, each person's room was just surrounded in TV or computer screens, basically. So he
mhm,
sat there and he was just going crazy with having to see it and banged his head against the screens. The screens cracked and a shard of glass came out. He took that shard and after he earned more merits, went on Hot Shots and basically um, was putting the shard up to his neck in an
mhm,
attempt to threaten to end his life so that the judges would have to listen to what he had to say. He did
mhm.
start out with a little dance to begin with, and I would have to say it was nice to see that someone else dances like me.
I'm glad you bonded with him over that. Must
Um,
have made it more enjoyable for you for sure.
it did. I'm like, oh, that's my dancing. Yes, you're right. You're pretend fashionista, just
Yeah,
like Claire saying you would have to do a whole dang
yeah.
trigger warning for the whole show.
Mhm,
But to add to the hopelessness of everything, they deliberately twisted, the judges did, what Bing said. He basically went on this whole emotional rant about the system, and we're doing this for nothing, and we're making fun of people and getting our kicks off of it.
right.
What is this for? And they're like, oh my gosh, that is the most heartfelt thing you've ever said. We're going to give you 30 minutes twice a week on our stream to just rant about whatever you want. So,
So ridiculous.
again, you can do that or the bike. And he was like, okay, I'll do that. And basically, he got put back in the system again.
And that's it. And then here's the thing. The system. That's the whole. What was the system? There are theories that it was some kind of prison system that you're working through, like, because of how it's set up and you never get anywhere. That is something like that. There's also like it's some type of mandatory servitude,
Right.
which I'm thinking more like because you go in it when you're 21, you have to do your time, doing this biking for everybody, and that they just added this show to give some little bit of hope, even though there was no hope. Um, Something for them to look forward to, earn towards, because just riding that bike day in and day out without any end goal would have been nobody would do it. I mean, they would just lay down. They would just lay down in the middle of the aisle, after a while.
Right.
Who would keep doing it? So the shows are all designed to like keep you a little bit interested, and then having that end goal of the 15 million merits is in my opinion was just something to reach for, just to keep you going day in and day out. Because I mean, really, look, your vending machine doesn't even work. The food is crappy. Nobody's
Right.
talking to you. The shows, I mean, yes, you can do like gaming and things that you like, but you can't customize your, I guess you can customize your animations. He had that damn rooster that he was shooting every day. Oh
Oh,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
I was like,
you could use your merits to buy, like, fake clothes and different stuff
Right.
for your avatar. And
Mhm.
I mean, we don't worry, we're not blind to the irony that we're both streaming right now, talking about a show and using avatars. So
And we are. We are.
that's why the
Yes, we
show
are.
is so like disturbing because it is so much like real life. Now,
Mhm.
let me tell you, one of the things when I originally saw this episode years ago, um, I think before I knew Reddit, whatever, I just kind of did a Google search to see what other people were thinking. And the first thing that popped up was K-pop bands.
Mm.
So I read several articles, although I don't think this is what this episode 50 Million Merits was about. I found so many different similarities in having to earn a way to even, they call it debut. And like how these people in this episode, you had to gain so many merits and then you got in this little waiting room to get on the show hotspots. But even though you earned the merits to buy the ticket, still didn't mean that you were going to get a spot to audition.
Mhm.
And with, let me see if I can pull up the article. So with K-pop bands, they have to do years of training before
Mhm.
they do what's called debut. And there are some people who have been in training for like 11 to 15 years and they never get their chance to debut. Or even if they do get their chance to debut and join a group, it doesn't mean that they're going to have success. And there's even issues with having their weight controlled, what they eat monitored. There's definitely like sexual assault. It's all quite disturbing. And
Mhm.
all of their groups are very manufactured. And it just made me think of that episode. And well, it didn't only just make me think of it when I Google searched it, that's what came up. And it was just eerie to know that this happens in real
Right.
life. I
Yeah.
found it. Did you know anything about how K-pop
No.
groups come about?
Nope. Nope. I never. No. I did not know the process at all. That sounds really bizarre to me and very familiar to the episode. So, yeah,
Right?
that's yeah.
Let me see if I
It's
can
a little,
pull up. Yeah, this has. I found lots of different things, but this was a quick little blurb of 8 stories by former. Oh, is it gonna by trainees that
mhm.
exposes K-pop's dark side. So there is a story that was shared about an underage female trainee being forced to be sexual with a 40-year-old investor because you see the money has to come from somewhere for people to form these groups. So there are
Mhm.
big investors that put out all this money to do the image, to do the music, to give a place where they can live, kind of similar to the little boxes that these people in the episode lived in. So someone has to front them for what they're doing. So it says, according to the poster, the trainees went to a bar to meet investors and were forced to pour drinks for them. And the investor convinced the person to quote unquote play with him,
Oh.
offering her money. Then there's other issues. There's this one particular, I don't know, is it sharing on here? I don't know who these people are particularly, but it says JJCC. Yes, it's sharing the screen. Sorry. Oops, let me go back to the article. Yeah, so he had a contract for 7 to 15 years was his contract. And it says that the companies get 80 to 90% of the artist's income. And then 10 to 20% of the income from the groups gets split amongst the members. So not only is that a very low percentage that they get, the 10 to 20% of their earnings, they have to split it between all the other 5 or 6 people that are in the group with them. He also says they average 3 to 4 hours of sleep a day. The rest of the time was spent on training or working. Let me see. There's other, I can link this article afterward.
Mhm.
But let me see the
Yeah.
one. Weight control.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a,
And that
go ahead. Sorry.
no, I'm saying that would be a big issue, especially correlating it with the with weight show, with the
Right. Kind
weight
of like the whole bicycling and you,
and the bicycling and the go on.
yeah, if you didn't maintain a certain weight, then you would be demoted to a trash cleaner in the same room where these people
Mhm.
were on the exercise bikes, and you got cursed at, yelled at. They threw the trash on the floor. They didn't even hand it to you or put it in the bag. You just had to go and lowly pick it off the floor.
Mhm. Or they were sent to that other show where they were humiliated on stream
Yeah.
regularly. Yeah, they were second class citizens, then definitely demoted. Like, yeah, I could see the correlation there. It's definitely not good. I
No.
don't know. Yeah. No, but you know what? In that country, I'm just like, this is just not, it's a very popular group, but like when they do it this way and it's very organized, it's a little scary what's going
Yeah.
on there. But I don't know.
It was very disturbing, and I,
Mhm.
again, didn't
that was a
know.
rabbit hole for you, for
Yeah,
sure.
it absolutely was a rabbit hole. And again, I can link that article and different ones down down in the description after we're done. I didn't do it
Mhm.
beforehand. John was saying, I remember seeing a story about one of the K-pop groups where one of the kids passed out on stage from being so overworked. And I believe it. Again, in this article, too, they were saying that they monitored their intake of food. One person was stating they even had cameras on them to watch if they snuck food,
Mm.
in their apartments. I also agree with what Mrs. Cassandra says. A lot of this episode just kind of reminded me of Hollywood as the machine in general. Like the people on the bikes are us consumers watching all of this, buying people's content, and then you're also you see this package of this dream of becoming famous, and then you go on, America's Got Talent, and you try out, and then you see the man behind the curtain, right? Like it's a machine. They don't really care about you. They don't care about
Right.
your story. They just
Mhm.
want to make money off of you.
Right. You're like a commodity to them, and
Absolutely.
part of the big business machinery that's going on just to make money, and that all they want to do is keep it going. And you're replaceable in a second because they're always working on the next one. It's it's horrific. And the same thing here with they had the same thing to say about boy bands that got together and how they did that and how that was all groomed to put them all together. They came from all different places, make fake stories about their
Right.
lives. But I don't think it was as horrific as this. This looks a little more,
Right.
yeah, a little more planned out, and uh, mm, I don't even know. It's almost like a business plan. It's just like a factory, just like this big
Yeah.
old, yeah.
Like
I
the
don't know.
person aren't even humans. And I
Right.
mean, we kind of
Mm,
treat people like that way in the entertainment machine, if you will. But this
mhm.
is even a step further in just disturbing behavior.
Well, that statement just filled in one of the holes for me. There you
What's
go.
that?
Because I think the whole overall, when I look at the whole episode as a whole, every single part of it, it would be, how with Black Mirror, it's always about society and
Right.
social media, right? The correlation is the dehumanization by social media, that
Yeah.
internet connection, that even when you're in a room full of people, you're not there. If that's anything, that's the only thing I got from the message, and the fact that Charlie Brooker can disappoint me occasionally. Sorry. But you know, because I do love the series. I'm not bashing the series, people. I love it. I wouldn't be up here with JC if I didn't. He's allowed to make mistakes. It was in the beginning. I forgot about this. Now I know why I forgot about this episode. I never
Because you
wanted
didn't
to
like
think
it.
about it
You
again.
know what?
I didn't
That
want to think
seems to
about it. There
be
weren't any answers to me. You know, it was so many gray areas. Like when they're done, when are they done with this servitude? If it is servitude,
when are
when
we
are they
done?
done? And
When are
where
we
do they
done?
go? Yeah, well, now don't get like that. This is not a philosophical
Well,
show. Stop.
I'm serious. Like I think this was all very intentional. I
You,
mean,
you mean he meant to do this to me? Oh my
yeah,
god.
I definitely think this episode was meant to be. I mean, I think they're all kind of meant to be unsettling, but this one wasn't a literal one at all. I
Hmm.
don't think. I mean, there was more um, representation, more symbolism than I think any of the others. Just showing. I mean, it was to me, it was kind of like not an episode, but one of the movies of the Matrix. Like the Matrix wasn't literal. Also, we all got it. What we're all
Yeah,
plugged in. We're all
but they gave you little tidbits that kept you enticed about trying to figure it out. Where this show didn't. They just left us out there. Like they didn't give us little hints. Like where do we go when they're done with the like that? What are they powering? Where is there a utopia you go to after you finished your substitute or whatever you're doing
correct.
there with the bikes? Because obviously you don't age there because there are no old people. There are no old people there. They're all of a certain age. Like, how long is it? When do they get out? Where do they go? Now, the Abby is the only one who talked about family, right?
Yeah, that is true. She is the only one that mentioned. Well, I mean, he did say his brother passed away, but yes, yeah, nobody was talking about like going to visit their mom and dad for the weekend or their kids or
Right.
anything like that.
I saw no children, no sick people, no injured, no disabled, or no elderly, you know, no relationships, you know, parental, grandparent, nothing. Um you were just there and you were all working on your own. There wasn't even people checking to make sure you're doing stuff or anything. You know, like there were, you know, there was people cleaning up, but there
Right.
weren't, you know, there
But
weren't
somehow they could
maintenance
still
people.
tell if you weren't opening your eyes to watch certain things.
Exactly. And why do you have to watch the commercials? What's so damn important about like how is that contributing to the greater good of the whole
Because then
society?
you'll spend more money, you'll spend more merits, and then your merits will be depleted. So then you'll have
Mhm.
to wait for it, feed the machine.
I know, but that takes away from the societal good, like that they're there in servitude for the good of everybody. That kind of
Not for
takes
the
away
people
from
on
it for
top.
me. Well, that's it. Is it more a 1%er? Is it just a big game? Like they put everybody in this box because they're all slaves? Like that's even worse, you
Yeah,
know?
I think so. I think that was pretty much the point.
Now you see why I have issues because I'm
No, I
coming up with
know.
all
These
these
episodes
scenarios.
are
None
dark, man.
and
They're
none of
so
them
dark.
work. I have all these theories and actually always grateful. Thank you if you're still here listening. Thank you for talking with this about us. It is great conversations to read and go back and forth. JC and I both love it, right? JC, we love it.
Yes.
So feel free to contact us anytime. I loved your input. I felt the same. I didn't have much to say back because I was like, yeah, girl, like I get it, like I get it. Like I have too many questions. And now that I have all these theories and none of them actually fit all the way for me, JC. How do you feel about that? Do any of them for as far as the purpose of why they're biking or where they go after, like did any of these theories that came up fit better for you?
Um, some some of them, yeah. And again, I almost feel like this needs to be a two-parter because there's so many theories on this one because it's left so open-ended. It leaves you with so many questions. There are a lot of
Mhm.
things that are not answered. So there are so many different theories out there on Reddit. There's different articles on, even what is it, IMDb. There was just different, this represents this, represents this. I mean, I could go on for another hour, which we won't, but I could. Um, that I don't know. We'll talk offline to see if we want to do like an uploaded video or do this on our own or do another stream about this next week. Who knows? But
Mhm.
yes, there. I feel like I got a lot of it. I feel like I think it's left for you to think how life actually is in our relationship with technology,
Mhm.
which is kind of the whole theme of Black Mirror. But yeah, are you going to let everything else dictate your life? Are you
Mhm.
going to let the machine control you? Is kind of how I took it. Like, what are you running around for? What are you
Mhm.
sitting at night watching hours of mindless television? Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with television. Obviously, I watch it. I'm online a lot, but I do, now that I'm in my 40s, I do things more intentionally now. And
Yep.
I wanna leave you with another disturbing thing. I see a lot of people mentioning America's Got Talent, and we can still talk after this. I just wanna This was one of my, favorite parts too, and you'll have to excuse me, this is my first time sharing, um,
You're doing great.
this part, but
Mhm.
to make you feel even more disturbed, right? In 2020, we were already in this episode.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Because how many this is literally America's Got Talent right here.
And that's everybody there, just like the audiences of the, show, because they're in
Yep.
their cubicles separate, and here we are.
Boop, boop,
There
boop,
they
boop,
are.
boop.
Look at that. See? We were in a Black Mirror episode, people. We lived it. Look at that.
We were literally in a
We
Black
did.
Mirror
We
episode.
and the thing, the way that they, like, everybody is their just their avatar. They're not real people, even though they're real people. They're not taking
Yep.
pictures of you. Yep, they're just their avatar. They're just whatever they bought to represent themselves online. And yeah, that was a message. That was a message.
It
It
was
that.
holy crap when I saw that during when our country was in full lockdown. I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh my god. It's a freaking full circle. This real Oh my god. This is 15 million merits." Holy shit. I can't believe it came true.
Yeah. That movie They Live that John's talking about, that had such a strong subliminal messaging about advertising
I
that.
haven't seen that
Yeah.
one.
Oh, it's from the 80s. It had Roddy Rowdy Piper from wrestling in it, which
Yeah.
is, yeah. I remember setting my alarm to get up in the middle of the night to watch it because it was like a B movie, so it only came on like at 3 a.m. or something like that in the middle of the night.
Right?
But
Back when
yeah,
you
it
had
was.
to watch what was on TV instead of just clicking on it.
Yes, I'm a dinosaur. Yes, before DVR was a thing, before you could just like tape
Oh,
everything that occurred or go find it later. Yeah, when
my
I was like,
daughter unfortunately does not get that. When we go stays like in a hotel or something, she's like, "Okay, I want to watch this show." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not how it works here. You just have to
yeah,
watch what's on." "No, but
yeah,
I want
it's
to
just like
watch
what?
this."
And they're
"Don't they
like,
have
what?
Netflix?" I'm like, No, nope."
It's like Netflix follows us wherever they go. Disney Channel, the whole thing. Yeah. I don't know. I know they have a different concept of the whole thing than we do, but I watched it all change. It's kind of horrific. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. I was born before the internet was created. I remember getting computers when I was in
Mhm.
elementary school. No, no, no. Our school got a computer in the whole entire school, and it was
Mhm.
like the biggest deal ever.
So you were like, of the same where we were like planning if there was a show that we wanted to follow, you had to plan your week around it because you
Oh
couldn't make
yeah.
any plans because you had to be home at 10 o'clock to watch like
Oh
Dallas or
yeah.
Dynasty or one of those shows about the housewives or whatever.
I
Because
remember
there
the
were
last episode of Friends and like recording that
uh-huh.
because I had to
Yep.
work at night that night, so I couldn't see it.
Yep. John, you're right. In that Netflix is different in every country. They have different feeds and different things. But right now, like I'm in the United States, so I get the American one. But there's also Amazon Prime that you can find things on too, and sometimes that'll be a little more with shows from other countries. Like I find a lot of the stuff that I like from BBC either right on BBC America or through
Sherlock.
Amazon. Oh my God, I am. Don't get me started. Go, yeah. JC, shh, don't tell anybody. I am so hot for Sherlock right now. So God,
He
he's
is
so
only
brilliant.
attracted to me in that show, but yes,
Yes, it's his
Benedict
brain.
Cumberbatch as
Yeah,
Sherlock is
yeah.
hot as hell, but get him
He's just
outside of
so
that show, I'm
brilliant.
like, nope,
He's such an asshole, but he's a brilliant asshole. He doesn't like
love it.
care about people's feelings or anything, but his brain, the way he thinks, I'm just like going, go Sherlock. It was so I've done 3 episodes now watching, and I'm not disappointed at all. I can't wait. And I'm gonna be sad when it's over because I'm completely immersed in it and entertained. And what they did with if anybody hasn't seen it, it's the BBC America one with Benedict Cumberbatch and I forget the other guy's name, but what they did with the Watson character is brilliant. I'm so thrilled.
Yeah,
I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled.
it's an incredible show. I would
Yeah.
say we would have to start covering after like Black Mirror, but we have a lot more episodes to do for Black Mirror. But yes,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I will still talk to you about it offline because that is like one of my favorite shows.
You told me I was in for a treat, and you were right.
I
It
love
is
it.
really good. It's really well done.
The
It is
dialogue is freaking brilliant,
it
hilarious,
is it is.
sarcastic as hell. It's
Yep.
just, yep.
Very
And
entertaining.
the guy who plays Moriarty is in one of the Black Mirror episodes.
Yes, he
So
is. Yes, he is. Yeah, he is.
I have a
So,
weird affection for him as well. I wanted to
mhm.
read something that, and I'm sorry we didn't get to like everything. We are probably going to be ending the stream soon because I think Erin's going to be going live soon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know if she scheduled it, but she did say something, to me about 10:30. So I'm pretty
Um,
sure.
Speaking of always createful, wanted to read one of the things that she sent about the song that
Mm-hmm.
Abby sings in the show that
Mm-hmm.
can't remember what other episode, but I know that song is sung in another episode of Black Mirror, which Always Grateful said as well.
I think she said it appears 3 times. This one
Oh,
and maybe
really?
2 more. Isn't that I think that's what you sent me, but I can go back and look. But it is like an Easter egg that
Yes.
they put it.
She
Yeah.
said it's by Irma Thomas. And the song is about a dysfunctional relationship, and the use of the song can be compared to our own dysfunctional relationship with technology.
That is a good correlation with what Black Mirror tries to represent every single time, right? It's
Absolutely.
yeah. They do a good job. They are.
They do a really, really good job. You remember recording blank shows on VHS? Yes, we do on a VCR.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes. We're all aged.
And
Yep.
please
Martin
be
Freeman is John
kind,
Watson. Thank
rewind.
you. Thank you very much, Puddle Feeds. Martin Freeman is the one who plays John Watson on the Sherlock. We have to give him
Cool.
credit because he's also a very good actor.
He
Yeah,
is. Wasn't he was the Hobbit, right? As well, I believe.
was he? What he might have been one of them. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think he was the lead in the movie The Hobbit. Let me see if I can pull
He
him
could
up.
have been. I don't know. He did have a familiar face to me, but I'm not
Yeah, I don't know how to share it without already copying it. And yes, he was. He was the main character in The Hobbit. He was the Hobbit. All right. I'm sorry. I feel like we kind of didn't get to chat as much as we normally do. There's just this one was man.
Yeah, it was hard because
So
it's
much.
hard to think of lots of good things to say about something when you're having issues with it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was negative. I just had issues with a lot of it. And I did talk to someone else who actually was bringing some of those issues with me. And that kind of made it worse because we couldn't figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. I do
Yeah,
too,
this was
Mrs.
not a
Cassandra.
feel-good episode for sure.
No, it left me. But you know what? That is the thing. When anybody asks me about Black Mirror, that's what I say. You will be either disturbed or very thoughtful afterwards. Like they are thought provoking in some manner. Sometimes
Absolutely.
sometimes in a disturbing way, like this one. I can't let it go. Like I'm going to keep thinking about it. And I did not find anything on the internet that helped me abate my disturbance, and everybody seemed to feel the same way. Those were the same things that bothered them. Like there weren't
Yes.
any answers. So you're right. They may have done that on purpose. It may be strategically done that way to leave the episode that way. That was the point. The point.
It could have been. I mean, I don't have proof of that, but that's just my theory that
Oh, Charlie, if you ever hear us, if you see this someday, somehow, some way, just could you answer that for us,
you give us
please?
some answers.
I need to sleep someday in the future. Like I need to know. I promise I won't tell anybody besides like all of YouTube. But please just give us a little hint. Give us something going. Yeah, throw me a crumb. Throw me a crumb,
So
But
next week will be on Claire's channel. I don't even think we've talked about what episode
we have. I'm doing Metalhead next week.
That's right.
Yeah, I've already got it prepped. I already have it scheduled. Same bat time, same bat place. I mean, same bat time, same bat day, different bat channel.
Different bat channel. It's going to be
So
a bear channel.
It'll be on the Bears channel Sunday, 9:00. It'll be on the Metalhead episode.
Yes.
And that's also an apocalyptic scenario there. And everybody just trying to survive and getting paranoid, and this should be good. I'm hoping we feel a little better about this one. I don't remember a lot about this episode either. I got to watch it hard.
I don't either. Isn't that funny? Like some of them really, really stick out. And then like this one, I think it was last week's. Anyway, there are some of them where I'm like, I don't really remember this. And then you just start watching it and it kind of like brings back everything. Oh my gosh, no, I really remember this one. They're just all so good that it's hard.
You know what? Always creative. I admire that you took the bullet and you didn't let the ice cream melt and you ate all of the coconut cream pie ice cream. I would have done the same.
I'm proud of you.
We are so proud of you. Do not let the ice cream fall victim to the melting. This is terrible.
Especially
I'm glad you saved it.
You don't have power, so you
right. You should just eat the ice cream. You did. Yep, you did it. And no, you don't get a yellow jumpsuit for it. We're not doing that here. No. Yes, Mrs. Cassandra. Sometimes I do appear to be quite booked up, but not as bad as last week. I didn't schedule a lot of stuff. That's just the series that are going on. That I was participating.
And when is your next reading of Am I the Asshole? Who's your guest?
I do not have anybody on for next week. I am not. Okay. Don't come for me, people. There will be no asshole named next week. What? You're going to have to save it for the week after. Yes, because I have Megan is going to do a question and answer on her addiction series. We're going to finish that up with one more episode so she could talk with the chat and talk about the programs or anything that they want to address about everything we discussed.
That's amazing.
And then I have the YouTube series with Jamal and all of those small creators that you are aware of, JC, because you're part of it. So we're doing that on Thursday evening at 8:30. And then Saturday is Mayhem that I just booked one. We're just going to do that on Saturday. And then we're going to do Black Mirror on Sunday. So it'll be just a casual series week. I'm just doing the series. And then I'll book the rest of September with the assholes. I love the assholes. I do.
Yes, it is. It's quite fun. And it's thought-provoking as well. You normally bring up social issues as well that are maybe a little less disturbing than the Black Mirror series, but thought-provoking nonetheless.
No, but I love these conversations, JC. I will always come for these
I
kind
do
of
too. They're so
conversations.
fun. I appreciate you
You know.
being here and the chat being here. And if anyone hasn't seen, I think I'm going to be, well, not I think, I've stated people have shown interest in starting a book club that I think we're going to cover a couple chapters of a book each week. That's kind of how I have to do it, or I won't read it and I'll scramble at the last minute and it'll be a crap show. So
do you have any idea what book you want to do?
Oh, yes. We're covering The House of the Seven Gables. It's by Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Okay.
It kind of goes, he's an American writer from Salem, Massachusetts. He also wrote The Scarlet Letter. And I recently got to tour this. This is a real life house, and it's got some good history too. And that the book was written about the house, but it was a fictional story. And then there were some additions to the house that an owner made to match the book. And then things were taken away. And I don't know, it's just a really good, it's a really interesting book, not only because it's a good story, but because of history as well. So I think we're going to start on September 7th. I'm just going to probably put out a tweet or something like that to make sure, and put out some different links. John had a really good link to show where people can get free copies of the book as well.
Oh, great.
So we're going to cover the first 1 to 4 chapters on September 4th, and it'll be sometime during the daytime, but I just want to make sure with some other of our friend creators that I'm not doing it.
Right. That's great. Is that link on Twitter somewhere in the conversation? Can I search it there, or if not, send it to me, John? You know.
But. Yes, the Project Gutenberg. Yes, and he did. I think he put a link to it in the video called. I don't know what my own video is called, but it's the most recent one that I did before this one, just a random live stream. He put a link in the comment section, and I'm going to update that as well and actually put it in the description. So thank you, John. I really, really appreciate that. And yes, always grateful. Yes, Twilight Zone. In fact.
Oh, we love that show too. I don't know. I'm hooked.
Yep.
Look at all of us. We're all just freaks together, people.
We found each other.
I know. I'm loving it. I can't believe. I mean, I like it. I like it. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna go pull that up. So, how many chapters? 4 by the 7th.
1 through 4. Yeah, by the 7th. Yeah, because I have a little. I'm gonna cheat and use what I did in college as well. I'm gonna use Spark Notes, Cliff Notes, and get some discussion points and questions, and kind of follow along their guide. So we're going to do chapters 1 through 4, and I think that'll give people enough time. That's about 2 weeks to be able to.
That's fine. John, I love that show too, Tales from the Crypt, and that character, and that the Crypt Keeper is still my favorite Halloween decoration in our neighborhood. Like, I love it when I see it all over. The animated ones, the talking ones, even just the still one. Yeah, it was cool.
Yes.
But those were good.
That's kind of why I chose that book too. Not to keep going back on that, but Salem Haunting.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting, and I love that you're celebrating a good American author, a well-written American author.
Well, I mean, I have to say, I just learned about him last month, so.
Well, he's easy to read. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like his sentence style, I think. You know.
I'm excited. I'm excited to read it. It was cool to tour the house and learn the history. So, with that said, we want to go support our fellow.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go see if Erin's drunk, everybody.
I
don't think she is. I don't think she is
anymore.
No, we can't. No, we have to, because she does it so often.
No, I straight up did that the other day on my own live stream and kept talking, and I was like, oh my gosh.
All right, you have a 1-day penalty then, where you cannot make fun of her. You just 1 day that you're not allowed to do it, and then after that you can. So today you can't make fun of her for muting because you did it, but then tomorrow.
So everybody else do it for me.
Yeah, okay. Let's go. All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me, JC. We'll see everybody again.
Everyone, appreciate it, Claire.
Yep, we'll see you all in the YouTube streets. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.